super gang. This how we hold it down in our road. Hold it down in the city, keep your hands off of my hoes. All my bitches is free, now I'm all up in that zone. All up in that zone. All up in that zone. Boy, I'm all up in that zone. Check it. My passion for music grew into the studio and all of the money and hype. Was dedicated and committed. I made the microphone my honey and wife. I walk alone in the wilderness. The book of my journey I write. So if you don't know where I'm headed, you're telling me how to be running my life. I keep my focus on my dreams. Aim for some of the negatives. Hottest nigga in the scene. Ain't rapping just for the hell of it. African boy so intelligent. I come from the land of the elephants. Martin Luther with the words right. I saw they can fuck with my eloquence. Not per se deep I'm so true. Ain't going back to be broke. But this ain't a shikamoto. Cause I be doing the most. Cause down in the mission the Lord to. With every picture that I post. When you took you up with a corporate since you my photo, they know about a joke. Boy, I'm gonna in the bag. They won't gonna be up a seat for. I broke with the shackles and chains. I'm taking this out in a leap. Hey. It's Africa taking over. Don't act like you don't know if you're getting that. I just know you. I'm playing super role, calling Superman, getting super love for my super fans. Super role, Superman, and I'd like to introduce you to this super gang. This how we hold it down in our road. Hold it down in the city, keep your hands off of my hoes. All my bitches is free, now I'm all up in that zone. All up in that zone. All up in that zone. Boy, I'm all up in that zone. I done told you I'm back in a minute. I'm back in the business. You niggas is jealous and now you be acting offended.
Yeah, that is Calligraph Jones, always delivering music after music. That is Superman by the one and only Calligraph Jones, playing right here on the Black of Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. How are you? How was your weekend? Karibuni sana. This is the Pan African Bliss. My name is Joby. In case you're joining us for the first time, kindly do look forward to interacting with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. Bring them vibes on because I'm ready to go. I do not know about you, but I am just waiting for you guys to turn up. But karibuni sana once again. In case you want to join us and interact with us, we are on Facebook at the Black Fire Network Radio Station, on Twitter at the Black Fire Network, and on Instagram as well the same. Nonetheless, for me, I will start the show with nothing but just positive vibes and of course super love. That is what we are delivering right here on the Black Fire Network Media for the 21st century. Kindly do interact with me and tell me how was your weekend. Mine was super amazing. Just chilled in the house, nothing much. I can't say I did anything in particular. I'm that one boring person. If I don't have like a plan for the weekend, I'll stay locked in the house the whole day. I'll only get out if I want to go to the shop and buy something. That is how bad I am, but I prefer being indoors rather than going outside and just, end up in some chaotic, chaos that were not for me. I went to look for chaos themselves instead of the chaos looking for me. But I was just chilling there in the house. I do not know about you, but I hope you had an amazing, amazing weekend. It being the 31st of January, we are saying bye-bye to this particular month, and I hope that it has been a fantastic one for you. For me, it has been just amazing. I don't know about you. January has just been amazing, because I can say it like Kate, the way Kate was saying, we began the month, us being in Tanzania. So we were like, we spent half the month in TZ and half the month here in Kenya, which is doing great, super amazing. But I just want to thank you, family, for being with us and for being super supportive, since the foundation of the Black Fire Network began. It began when we were not here, but us being part of it, and of course, getting courage and love from you guys, it makes us feel very special and very loved and very honored. We appreciate your time for always joining us in each and every particular broadcast that we bring unto you. 44 minutes past 11 a.m. right here in the 254. I do not know about you, but I want to engage you and welcome you onto today's show as we go back into some music. And for now, I want to play you another jam by the one and only Calligraph Jones, because man, this guy is always delivering. He's just super talented. And most of the people, actually, yesterday I was debating with a friend who came to visit me. I was so bored, so I had to call a friend to come say hi. So, he's an artist. So we were discussing, and he was showing me some of the works, he has done, and one of the collaboration he wants to do with some people. And when you listen to the music, these people are really talented, like, extra talented. And you ask yourself, is it because of, we know how the system works? We know YouTube is being controlled, all the social media is being controlled. Could it be also in the game when it comes to the music, it is also the same, because I do not see why someone has so much talent but they're not given the opportunity. Like, people are really super talented outside here, but the chances of them being recognized are so minimal. But let me go back to some music and play this one, for you, by the one and only Calligraph Jones. I hope that you enjoy this one. This is Leave Me Alone by the one and only Kali, and this is one of my favorites, still playing right here on the Black on Fire Radio. Enjoy this one.
OG, hey, say leave me alone. Kahuna Pongo on my phone. Shinipiki and Shimu don't be calling on my phone. Leave me alone. If you can keep up with the Jones, I'd rather fly and Bali, don't be coming to my show. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, turn on me, leave me alone, turn me alone.
Yeah, and as you turn into this particular new month, manze, achana na wale watu wakusaidii, drop down the people who are not helping you. It is a new year, and I say this year, make it your year. Be selfish as much as you can, manze. Love yourself, prioritize your people, those you have been neglecting for the longest time, and you think they really deserve your time now, and they deserve maybe something from you. Kindly do that for yourself. Do not force issues. Hakuna cha kuforce hapa. It's 2020. No forcing issues, no forcing relationships, no forcing anything. Just flow with yourself, flow with the vibe, and whoever wants to flow with you, they're gonna tag along. But do not force anything. That is what I can tell you. But I enjoyed this particular one by the one and only Calligraph Jones. My favorite jam here.
OG, hey, say leave me alone. Kahuna Pongo on my phone. Shinipiki and Shimu don't be calling on my phone. Leave me alone. If you can keep up with the Jones, I'd rather fly and Bali, don't be calling to my show. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, what's telling on me? Unabambika na vako, zile nyuso mampasho, ile italico haso, mimi kipango za jasho, unaeleza udaku, ndiyo ongeza za macho, lakini hakuna kichapo, kofi soki na kahasho, tangu niende kwa masho, nimekuwa kwa topasho, goli zile niko nazo, zimenilete vikwazo, maheto na kaza matako, makoje na kaza ngamaso, so usidini na mawazo, tukamasi yako ni yako, na yuke no be masako, mkono kodinga kwa bako, yuzeta na diga na paso, tatalebe nunu wa rafo, mashono pika kila sato, design ya chesi na mato, sino hukucha urasio, kuwote ya soda na chapo, nina bobi ya ushako, na manyako wana nitako, nina jeshi ya kina zero, na sino mashiki ya tako, nishinanga na kina wambo, kwa ile jipanda ya pango, tuko juu ya rege kanambo, na tuko na daya makanjo, leave me alone. Kahuna Pongo on my phone, Shinipiki and Shimu don't be calling on my phone, leave me alone. If you can keep up with the Jones, I'd rather fly and Bali, don't be coming to my show. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, what's telling on me? Leave me alone, what's telling on me? Hey, nataka kulipimia life asifu waga ni fair. Waka watoto wa juzi sasa ndio wananibea. Ni maisha ni kuishi vile unataka ama ni jail. Tusitaki nizame na stories za pressure kana talitel. Mtami huanga ni mea, watele ni miwa na air. I know you would think it fair, but my nigga we never care. Siri ni kunyenyekea, kujua ni wapi unaelekea. So kuanzia leo tu mimi declare lazima ngoma sitaenea. Unapenda kunibaba, kunichafulia rada. Huku mimi najikaza, so vile mimi nawaza.
He goes by the name OG. That is Calligraph Jones, played right here on the Black on Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. Once again, karibuni to the Pan African Bliss. My name is Job. In case you are joining us for the first time, kindly interact with us. We are on Facebook at the Black on Fire Network radio station, on Twitter as well, and on Instagram. You can also catch us live on YouTube and get to share your thoughts regarding the every matter that we will be discussing right here today on the Pan African Bliss. And before I just give the quote of the day, rather some African proverbs of the day, one of the things, or rather one of the memes that I came along on the weekend was really funny, and it was something to do with the Eritreans. It was like something like a breaking news, but again, somehow it made me think, could it be true that maybe most of the men do always wish this, because it was like, Eritrea are right now arresting men who do not have two wives. And someone just captioned it. It was like, men, I've always known that I'm not a Kenyan. Eritrea, your son is coming back home. And I was like, what? So many people do wish that they had two wives. Kindly do interact with me and let me know. On the main on the men's side, and I can't say on the women's side. Are you that kind of a man who've always been wishing, you had two wives? Because it seems in Kenya, people are always wishing they had two wives because they're saying, yo, Eritrea, I'm coming. This is your son coming back home. I've always known I've not been a Kenyan because, they'd rather go to a place where they're being arrested by not having two wives. That is literally crazy. But with the economy of today, I do not see even anyone who wants to get married. Like, being honest, I have not seen anyone who is even willing to settle, because if you look at like the generation we are in today, so many people are falling into things because of peer pressure, because a lot of things that are happening. But I do hope that whoever you fall, or rather, kwa mkono utaangukia tu, I hope you're gonna be okay. In the hands of whoever you're going to fall, I hope you're going to be okay. You're going to be loved and appreciated. But it is the 31st of January. We are coming to the end of this particular month. I do hope January imekupeleka vizuri. As for me, it has been super amazing, and it is 51 minutes past 11 a.m. right here in the 254. I do not know about you, but I want to welcome you and appreciate you for joining us. And I want to give you some proverbs, and this is, the proverbs, they come from, from our ancestors. And once, when we learn from this proverb, we learn a lot. Once you get to listen to some proverbs, we tend to learn a lot, because these were words, maybe some of them, they were invented by our own ancestors. So I want to read some proverbs coming from Kenya, but let me just give me some few minutes that I confirm this. Okay. Okay, and yes, sorry about that. So one of them says, and examine what is said and not who is speaking. Examine what is being said and not who is speaking. This is an African proverb, an African proverb which says, examine what is being said and not who is speaking, because most of us, I think, we tend to examine what is being said and not tend to, we don't tend to check the words, whom are they coming from. Sometimes you get some words which you never expect from someone. Sometimes do tend to examine who is speaking and who is giving you that idea. Don't just listen to what is being said, but also look at the person who is giving you the idea. It could be in a positive way or in a negative way. Do remember, this life, we have all sorts of people, but at the end of the day, we hope people are going to change. Today I was just walking and I was like, we look at people, you're like, why is it that I look at myself, and with everything I've learned, because every time I wake up and I'm coming to work, I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm learning so many things, because when you look at the ignorance outside there, it's so real. On Saturday, we were speaking about the matters of religion, politics, how so many people are lost into this tribalism and all that. This shit is super real. Let me tell you, it is crazy. I am part of it. I rather have grown being part of all this. But sometimes, let me tell you, knowing the truth right now, rather knowing the little information that I know right now, it is crazy to take it in. And when you see your people being in the same state, and it even hurts more when you get to hear them being called fools, because there's nothing you can do about it. Because remember, let me tell you, an African is one person that is so hard. Let me tell you, it is so hard for so many people to take in the information. It is so hard for people to accept change. It is so hard. Even you might take an African, into a certain different place. For them to cope up with that particular change, it takes time. They'll still want to be used to the regular ways they are used to, the normal things they are used to doing. That is one of the things that I know. But we really need to change that. So today when I was coming to work, I was looking at people like, wow, we have different people in this world. We have the good ones, we have the bad ones, but you're like, you never know. The problem is you will never know who is the good one and who is the bad one, because we fall in every we fall in every, like, rather so many people fall into many classes. That is what I can really say. But I do hope that that quote is really as motivated you in any way. It is just one, simple and clear: examine what is said, not who is speaking. Examine what is being said, not who is speaking. Actually, it is a tough one, but really very 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 relevant. But once again, family karibuni, and I can see sister Light Bearer, you are in the building. I want to appreciate you for coming onto today's broadcast. How are you doing, and how was your weekend? Mine was super fantastic, just bored in the house, nothing really in particular, but I'm so glad to be here. And of course, as we approach another new month, I was saying, Calligraph Jones is saying, leave me alone, don't keep those toxic people anymore in this life. I said this year, make it you here. Personalize yourself. Make this, be selfish as much as you can. If I'm saying it right, be selfish as much as you can, because I think we've lived in an era where we just give, we try to please, we give, we try to please. But no, 2022 comes with a different energy. And personally, I just feel different. I feel being okay being alone. I feel being okay spending the weekend alone. And that's what's up. But I'm so glad to be here today on the Blackout Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. 55 minutes past 11 a.m. I do not know where you are listening to us from. Kindly, Sister Light Bearer, let me know where you are streaming with us from, and what is the time over there, and how has January been for you? Are you still tolerating toxicity, or are you leaving the toxicity behind? But moving on to the matters of the day, I have so much in the plate for you. I have news coming from Uganda and Rwanda, and we did get to check on Friday that they did get to open the borders, and we'll be letting you what is really happening right now, because the borders have been opened today, and we'll just be checking the movement. How is it so far? Because do remember, it will be so hard still for people to cope with the whole thing, to cope with the other to try get things back to the normal, because there have been restrictions because of the rebels and all that. And these, do remember, on Friday I did get to say this is not something that began 2019, because the borders have been closed for 3 years, not only because of the pandemic but because of the issues they had. This is an issue began in the 1980s till 1999, and then after that, still it is ongoing. I'll be also bringing you news from Mali, and still other news from Malawi, as we get to check the matters of corruption, how is being fought in Malawi. And I do wish if only the rest of the African countries and leaders could do the same when it comes to corruption. Like, you fighting corruption and you mean it, though we don't know if he is genuine himself, rather, he's doing also something creepy behind it. Because do remember, power, it is one of the things that is running in the political line. So he is the president. He might be stealing, but no one will know about it. But he has said he will not tolerate anyone using power, to take bribes in any sort of office, rather trying to favor anyone in the country. And we'll be speaking about that, and to see if he can encourage the rest of the African leaders to also do the same. But we can't speak of the leaders like Uhuru. This is one of the biggest thugs that we know, and he's living and doing great, still, because remember, this is a bloodline, the father began with that, and then we have him. I'll be speaking still of the Ecowas, where I can say Ecowas is uniting with the UN to access Burkina Faso's situation. And of course, I wanted to understand more of what Ecowas works with, what it deals with. Being honest, we did study all this in school, but with right now me getting the information of how the African countries are being led, with the economy, with the politics, the reality of what we have not seen in the media, what our parents could not tell us. Right now, I'm so willing to do much history, rather to do more research in everything that I represent as well. So I wanted to check what ECOWAS works with, and of course I'll be sharing on that. And of course you can also share the ideas that you have, or any history that you know about the ECOWAS, and what is their purpose, what was it built for, and what is the purpose, especially when it comes to the African countries, because I can see it is meant to promote economic cooperations among the members of states in order to raise the living standards and promote economic development. That is ECOWAS. And it has also worked to address security issues by developing peacekeeping force for conflicts in the region. But is that really being done? Because if you look at the matters of insecurity, just the other day we read on Friday that Kenya was being threatened by France. Rather, it got a warning, not being threatened, but it got a warning. And it's not only Kenya, but some of the African countries right now, including Mali, are being given a warning by France. And of course, one of the France minister or other politicians was trying to explain, when you get to see all this happening, is because the people or the African countries are doing something against what France really wants them to do. And that is why you can see so many threats, or rather so many warnings coming around. But you ask yourself the same question I had Kate asking: why will it be France is trying to do all this? What collaboration will they be having with the British company, rather the British colonies, for them to control, rather bring a warning to Kenya? That is a question that I'm yet to get an answer to. But for now, let me get back to some music, and this is by the one and only still Calligraph Jones. I don't know today I'm going to be playing Papa Jones only, but I hope that you get to enjoy this one. This was done 3 years ago. This was done 3 years ago, and it is just amazing. Calligraph Jones featuring Rostman. I hope that you get to enjoy this particular one.
Mambo creepy, everybody. See, right about now, you are rocking with the best. OG, Yo, si mwingine Mr. Bonventure hapa, straight toka Bongo mpaka Kisumu Naivasha.
Yeah, Tanzania representing and the 254, and I can see Sister Library saying you've been fighting pneumonia. I hope that you're gonna get well very soon. Kindly keep it warm and drink some warm water as as possible as you can, rather as much as you can. But I enjoy this particular one, and this is a collaboration of the 254 and the 255.
Yo, si mwingine Mr. Bonventure hapa, straight toka Bongo mpaka Kisumu Naivasha, Nairobi Mombasa, kila kitu guda na muda umefika sasa kutuma posa kwa huda. Kucheka na masnitaki wameshachezea bloku kwenye simu wanipati. Hizi natua show kolabo za nchi za kati, na shangaa unainidisi na huna tachomwa laki. Mademo wa monge nani, labda bando la chuo, hata mkisema sisi mami fresh sinaga kituo. Mjini kupambana utoke jasho soda nanda, ukileta story unabao na shauri ukajenge banda. Lizaliwa nwe tupake bongo, sema nkanyimwa 6 packs na kichwani sina dongo. Bila mkuyati wala vumbi la Kongo, mademo anasema smart and fresh ina zongo. Okay, Baba Ngida, Baba Yaro, Rostam Korabo na Baba Yao, Weso Wow Style South, na people wanafika zao. So macho watu hisi la sisi society yao. Na naobite da, tuko wasa, uliza mita kona boss man. Hapa tukazi, feeling the fire, oji collabo na Rostam. Akianina, you know, na, you know, Akianina, you know, Ndio sai wanawori, tumepull up na guy na malori. Zimejama OGs, killers, walai mpaka shorties, kazi sai kutuchambua joki sai Dakaroli. They call me Mugabe, zile pande za Dodoma. Hata Zimbabwe nina stamina ya Roma. That means I can't fall, niko fam kisimiti. Kali mina stand tall, juu ya fans na sikiki. Kipita mtabile wa super wana stare. They know I got it all, minika duka jo I swear. Wanapenda ile lugha na wapea. I don't do cheap liquor, wani chupa za belea. In case I'm in the stew, then if I stole a jana. Busy branding mpaka shati kona jasho ya jana. You on the top, iso fako wa chana. I've been rapping toka enzi za Vasco da Gama. Many chap toka zama, niko class moja blanda. Kwa darasa ya mshiki, minika basi toko mana. Kila kati na chora na wacha black bona lama. Kama Castro, I'm back bona mbado na smama. Ujume itafika toka mtana wa yono. I guess that's why they keep big bars when I follow. I'm on a cold woman, God, but Condoro. I'm a star in a pop, I could die, I did more. And I don't beat to die, to go aside. Uliza mita kwa maboss man. Hapa tukazi, feeling the fire. Oji collabo na Rostam. Akianina, you know,
you know that the OG is the goat. Yes, that is Calligraph Jones playing right here on the 254. How are you doing? And I hope you are doing great. So the Pan-African Bliss, my name is Joby Karibuni Sana, Sister Library, and to the rest of the family who are joining us right now. Asanteni Sana for being here and for joining us today and for supporting the Black Hot Fire Radio media for the 21st century. 3 minutes past 12 p.m. right here in the 254. I do not know about you, but I can see K. Williams as always, as early as always. It is 4 a.m. on your side, if I'm not wrong. But I appreciate you for joining us. I bet you are getting ready for work. And as you get to tell us, how did you get to spend your weekend? Was it chilled or was it all over? Did you go find chaos on the other side of the, of the village? Because as for me, I was just indoors. I didn't have nothing much to do. Just having some self-time, because I'm saying this year, make it your own self-time. Stop giving time and energy to people who do not deserve deserve it. I feel like most of us, not only me, but a big amount of us, a large number of us, we have been living, by pleasing others. But can you try make it a change this year? Can you try give yourself what you've been giving to others this year? Can you give yourself time? Can you take care of yourself? Can you take care of that body? Can you take care of your health? That is what I'm saying. But Karibuni Sana family once again. K Williams is saying yes, it is 4 a.m. right there. And yes, that is what's up. Asante Sana for joining us. And I hope you had an amazing, amazing weekend. But getting straight to the matters of the day, I wanted to start with an amazing positive story because we always begin with some negative issues that are affecting the African countries. But this is coming straight from the Uganda, and they have discovered a very huge Rolex, which has set our Guinness World Record in Uganda. This because of the street foods. When you come to every African country, I even saw that in Tanzania. We have street food literally everywhere. I don't know if it is the same in US. If you guys tend to get the same, or whichever part of the world you're coming from, if you get to bump into some street foods, and they're literally always very amazing. There's a difference between a restaurant food and a street food. The combination is always, yes, they're both good, but the street foods, hey, they always hit different, let me just say so. But I was just surprised about this one because it is just this literally almost the same thing that we consume here in the 254, one of the foods, rather cheapest foods in the street that you can get, eat for dinner or rather lunch and sleep like that, because it is a cheap and heavy, and very satisfying. But they're saying that if you are struggling to imagine how that could fit your wrist, and then forget the Swiss watch brand, and then think of the East African food, because they're saying the world largest Rolex weighs 204.6 kgs, and it is 2.3 million long, 10 feet. I don't know, 10 feet long. That is what I can say. But they're saying, as Ugandans have known to say, we don't wear Rolex, we eat them. And the Rolex snacks is a shortening roll of eggs. It is eggs rolled in chapati. Let me just share the screen so that you can understand what I'm really talking about. This is one amazing, amazing, delicious food. So let me just get to share my screen and get to see one of the African street food that I'm really talking about. Very affordable, very cheap, and very satisfying. Very satisfying, I can say so. But let me just share my screen. I get to show you what it really looks like. This is chapati. We call this chapati. Let me see. I can't see if my screen is sharing. Okay, there it is. Okay, so that is chapati and some eggs with some vegetables and some tomatoes on it. So this has set a world Guinness record in Uganda because it is the best common street food that people are consuming a lot. So they have said, let me just get to read this particular one, and I hope you have seen what it looks like. They are saying that the popular dish found on the roadside stalls throughout the country is made from a vegetable omelette with added tomatoes wrapped in a chapati, and it has already achieved some notoriety beyond Uganda, but recently the Guinness World Record certified the world's largest Rolex. And the ingredients that went into the hefty dish include 1,200 eggs, 90 kgs of vegetables, that is onion, tomatoes, cabbages, carrots, and peppers, 72 kgs of flour, and 40 kgs of cooking oil. It is literally just an amazing food, and I'm just so amazed. Why? Because the same thing. Actually, ours is different. In Kenya, we tend to take chapati, and we know sausages are bad. So kindly do not come at me with the sausages, kindly. But it is literally one of the most also affordable food, rather dishes that we consume literally most during lunch times. It is chapati rolled with some sausages. Just one of the African foods and dishes you can have, across other African countries. I do not know about Nigeria. I do not know. I know of Tanzania. It's a lot of chickens. We have mishkaki. We have a lot. We have like literally a lot. But they're saying that the challenge involved the physical as well cooking skills, moving the dough and frying the plates without it breaking apart. Proved tricky. It is proved as tricky, but it's just an amazing move, and I'm just so happy for Uganda that they set a world Guinness record, especially because of the street food. When you find that so many people when they come to Africa, they're like, ew, I can't take that. Nah, don't give us that face, kindly. It is literally amazing. Unless you try it, you won't know how good something is. But let me move on to other different matters that are happening still in the border of Uganda and Rwanda. And we know I had discussed a little bit that we had Uganda and the Rwanda border closed for about 3 years. This since 2019. And before that, they also seem to have an issue that was in 1980s and 1999, which I get to explain on Friday. So they are saying that the borders have been opened, and there is a little movement at the Rwanda and Uganda Gatuna border, which has reopened after nearly 3 years of closure. And the border was closed in 2019 following tensions between the two East African countries. And the BBC patient, this was reported by the BBC, one of the news anchor, but they're saying that one of the Uganda side and the construction of the custom offices, which are part of one-stop border system being implemented across the East African community, is ongoing. So there's not much going on, as I had explained earlier. Definitely, people are trying to cope up and trying to, if it is in terms of business, see how they can trade back and trying to save up to also bring back the businesses. Because I did get to discuss of how economics are affected when most of the African borders are closed. And the issue is most of us do not know the benefits of or especially, let me say, just Africans, we the African amongst the African, when it comes to trading, we've not been told the benefits of trading amongst each other. Because one, we still have the Mzungu theory. When it comes to trading, we must have a Mzungu for us to be seen superior, or we must look like we're going to conquer in this particular one if we only had a foreigner inside it, which is totally wrong. Because if you come and look at still the matters of like road construction, the building, unless a Chinese person is involved, and Africa will never be able to approve themselves. The African engineers, they're not like confident in themselves. It's a must they involve the Chinese, which is really crazy. And I do hope that is what I was saying. And I was working in the morning, I was looking at people like, we have all sorts of people, but you just don't know. Life always guides you, and you're gonna meet the right one or the wrong ones. And each in every situation, I bet it is always a lesson. And that is what is happening in the Uganda and Rwanda border. So I do hope that things are going to be okay when it comes to trading and them, erasing the issues that they are having. Because remember, once a country has an issue with another country, this not only affects the not only politically or other economic wise, but not only economic wise, but we also have people. So you can see that we had Rwanda people, other Uganda people transporting the Rwanda people, back to the country, like back then when it came to all this matter. But let me take a short musical break. When I come back, I'll be discussing of Mali. And, Mali is trying to, explain why there is a tension between France and the other African countries. And I also wanted to understand what could it be that, the British, what is the collaboration of British and France? Because when it comes to Kenya, we had a tension warning, or rather a terror attack warning, which was supposed to happen on Friday. Was it on Friday or Saturday? But nothing really happened. We never know when it can happen, but this was a target to the foreigners who are in the country. And you just ask yourself, what is the collaboration between British and France and them coming to Kenya? And why is it that they are the one giving us a warning and not even our own leaders? It is super crazy, and we need to check, the kind of a world we are living in. But let me go back to some music, and still by the one and only Calligraph Jones. Today I'll be giving you nothing but Calligraph Jones vibe. This is Wavy with him and Sakodi. Enjoy this one.
Hey, yo, Mochi, turn me up on them headphones, bro. Goddamn, feel like I'm finally back in the zone. If you want it, I got it, then I'll be happy to show. We be cracking the code with the broken sockets, the O to the G with the capital O. Oh shit, about to pull up a chopper and go ham. We pulling the bodies up and it's part of the program. They tell me little way to the chopper, they settle for the machete, but you niggas are ready for the cold hand. From the fuck this game up, motherfuckers trying to figure how I came up. I'm a killer on the loose, somebody back in every nigga on the feature, can't even equal it ain't love. Raise it, this is how I'm a brand, ain't a thinking I might lose, but Buddha, I'll be making the right moves. And I'll be whether underestimate my ambition, but they don't know what I'm planning or ready that I might do. Damn, bro, chill. Heck for the piece of the pie, nigga, let's see my cool. Ain't nobody taking no chances. Got my CD on my back and we coming for the pop with the kind of good over there. You know who the champ is. The Kina Mama Star, the Fuka Marasta, Bakuna, the Kalaka Kamalesta. Now I tuna Sadaka, and I look at my hustler, Bakuna Mataka, when I press.
Yes, and it just feels like the other day, because this song was released last year 2021 on January 11th of January. It is literally crazy because it just hit a year, and it has 3 million views. And Calligraph Jones is really dedicated, and when it comes to his talent and his music, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Last night nilimekao so tatu wanadhanisha mbona leo nina Fiji hizi lebo wanajua zina owe watu it's a bit to the rappers from 360 damn all of the moves that we making a wave you would think that way that we're ready to live competition running records delays combination of what I know that means all of the moves that we making a wave you would think that way that we're ready to live competition running records delays combination of what I know that means I got a stamina ready for ready rock away like I would do it in my middle. We just have to get everybody ready to make it some of the work that I do. Like I'm at the team, I'm going to go.
Yes, and that is what is playing right here on the Black of Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. Hope that you have enjoyed that particular one by the one and only Calligraph Jones. And, he's doing really great, as I was saying. He's really talented, and I wish him nothing but the best. We're yet to see what he has to drop this particular year, and I hope that he has something good in store for us. But let me go straight to the matters of the day, and I wanted to discuss about Mali. And we have seen that most of the African countries, let's say when it comes to the leaders, or even the nation itself, whoever is in charge of the nation, if they don't do something, rather if they don't comply with what the colonial countries want them to do, rather the controllers of the system, they tend to, threats always tend to come up, or rather there's a conflict, or there's a pandemic, or there's something. So Mali foreign minister has come forth and tried to explain the main reason why tensions are growing with France is that in France is that French believe in its country is not acting in their best interest. So that is what they're saying. They believe that French believes that this country are not acting in their interest. Kindly switch off the Saudi. Abu Daya Diop dismissed French concerns about Mali's alleged use of Russia machineries to fight Islamist insurgents. And that is because, one of the things that I do not really understand when it comes to the African countries, why is it we have the African Union, and of course we know that they do not do anything to protect Africa. Why is it that, because still connecting with what really happened on Friday, or other the information we've gotten on Friday, and of course Yamali comes and speaks about it, there's so many hidden things that have not been explained to us. And for me, I wanted to check, just before I go to the other matter, I wanted to see what is the collaboration of French and British, for them, coming forth and ruling these countries, because I do not see, but let me just see if I can find anything, just to get the whole thing clear. Mhm. Mhm. Let's see if they have any relevance, but they're saying, okay, let me see this one. So they're saying that the Treaty of Paris of 1763 ended the French and Indian War, 7 years war between the Great Britain and France, as well as their respective alliance. In the terms of treaty, France gave up all the territories, mainland North America, effectively ending any foreign military threats to the British colonies there. So they do have a collaboration in all this, and this is way back. This is way back. So they do have a collaboration in everything that is really affecting the African countries, because I was trying to understand why is it that France comes forth and why not British? It has to come forth and give us a warning about what is really about to happen to the African countries. But the Mali foreign minister has made it clear, and of course we knew this because Kit has explained this a lot of times. Most of the countries tend to face a terror if they don't do what they want them to do, if they're not acting in their interests. And that is what is really happening. And he did also say that Mr. Diop said that France had no right to describe the last year's coup as illegitimate, as it had good relations with other countries with military rules. And I do hope that to the rest of the African countries, they can also be able to understand this, and be able to build a better nation, rather a better continent for ourselves, and be able to escape all this. Because every time we see an alert, people are always in tension, because with all this, actually what really happened on Friday with with the threats. Let me just read it to you, and you can be able to understand more. But let me. I didn't really get it. Yeah, they're saying that actually on Friday, when they did get to give the warning about the terror attack that was supposed to happen, they say that heavily armed police officers were patrolling the streets of Nairobi on Friday, and tight security was also visible outside the government offices, public buildings, and shopping malls. With regard to the French terrorist alert, we assume that the security of Kenyans include critical infrastructure is being tightened throughout the country, especially in the cities, and people should avoid any crowded places, especially where the foreigners are. These foreigners still are the ones who are bringing all this mystery in Africa. They come here and cause distractions, and if any one African person raises their voices, they look like they are crazy. There's a time I did get to share of a story where one lady raised a voice and told some Arabians who are walking around the town, go back to your country, you don't belong here. And people are looking at her like she was crazy. She's totally right. And the issue is because we've been made to think of Mzungu as a very great person in our lives, and we don't see the damages they bring in our continent each and every time. But I can see Sister Michelle in the building. You're saying hi. Hi to you too. Hope you are doing great. And how was your weekend? Kindly do let us know, how did you get to spend your weekend? Was it amazing, or was it just chilled? It can be a chilled one, it could be a chaotic one as well. But I hope you had an amazing one. And moving on to other matters of the day, they're also speaking of Malawi, and I'm speaking of Malawi, where the president went ahead and warned the ministers against corruption. And I was saying, if only all the African leaders could do the same. But still, again, we don't know, because do remember, this is a president, he is in power, and we don't know what exactly he is capable of. A president is capable of anything. So he might just come forth and eliminate all the ministers who are also trying to act like him, still like him, but we don't know which position he really stands on. Is he leading correctly, or does it also have something else to do? But I do hope corruption can be fought, or on a daily basis things can change, and we can live in a world where we don't have to face corruption and bribes every time. They're saying that Malawi's president has warned ministers against corruption after swearing in a new cabinet on Sunday, and the president's Lazarus Chakwera said he would not shield anyone from prosecution if they got involved in corruption. And he went ahead and said, do not accept a gift in exchange for using your office to give someone preferential treatment in the administration of a public service. That is corruption. Totally, and I agree with him. Yesterday, it was on Saturday, a friend really made me very angry, when they told me they had to bribe someone, or rather a teacher, for them to get their results right, for them to graduate. Which means of education is that? Which means of education is that? I was like, you are my friend, and you see how every day we're talking of corruption, but you still go ahead and practice corruption. That is totally wrong. And it is really crazy. It is even affecting we, the citizens, where if you go somewhere and you're really in need of something, you have to carry extra money, because you have to give it out, because of matters of corruption every day, matters of bribery every day. You can't get anything right if you don't bribe any person. We are living in a very, very crucial time. We are in the richest continent, but we are living in a poor way, where we have to give. They get rich as you give. That is really wrong. But Malawi's president is totally right with whatever he is saying, and I do hope this can also be practiced in any other countries like our Kenya, like our 254 here, like Nigeria, and the rest of the African countries as well. I cannot speak of Tanzania because I did not see corruption over there or the matters of bribery happening so much. It may be, but I can't say it is that exposed, like we are really exposed to it, because this is really crazy. And the president also, president sacked his entire cabinet last week, but most of the ministers were reappointed in a new line and up announced days later. So he's really doing an amazing job. I do not know of the president of Zambia. I remember there was a time we were speaking of the president of Zambia, and I have not heard any news about Zambia lately. And we hope that it is really doing great, because he had come forth and said he's going to end the matters of corruption. But again, the system on him began, with so many chaos. We had so many loans to pay for and all that. But we hope that the rest of the African countries can also practice the same thing. But let me go take a short musical break, sip some water, and then I'll be right back, because I can see my voice is getting raspy, little by little. But let me play this amazing jam by the one and only Jitumbaya. This is one of the friends that I have, and he is having an upcoming album this particular coming month. It's called Safari ya Somali. He was interviewed here some time back, and I do hope that you get to enjoy this particular one by him.
Yeah, hey, 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 oh, so, Kembo ukikame kote downtown hata ziko chini kama sundown Matango kimia fuck your town Kujana mania utashana Kudaaminia tunakaa Kujana mania utashana Kudamu kimia utashana Kembo ukikame kote downtown hata ziko chini kama sundown Matango kimia fuck your town Kujana mania utashana Kudaaminia tunakaa Kujana mania utashana Kujana mania utashana Kudamenia tunakaa Kutangu ni mia utashana Kutangu ni mia and I'm back in it Baby vumilia put it back in it Yeah I'm talking shit but I'm back in it Nigga ni my bitch on the bun image Wakileta shida ni mapama man Akileta shida umapamba man Vile nazivuta nasikamba man Sina mambo mingi kama pale man Niko maji kwa samaki sisiezi drown Na iskali ya habari kila town Kembu town, go to town, nasi fuck around K.O. Killer Brown, mini King Kong King kando Jing Jong, macho feature ding dong Niki kill song, if it's scared go to church Hapa siyo hill song, moto moja bengiton Mwengine mabili ton, nomedose niko on Bezi zima hii tochi, bro alijaa manzi yake ni atoti Dem alikam, jole onanga manoti Dem alikam, tunafanya vitu noti Kwenye ploti, liki sosi Isi hobby, mbaya kamikosi Zazi kiripoti, mkwa ya madondi Kama kono nikapenda kuja slowly Sirushi midomo kama diva niko loki Kata kiza do please, so hakuna place Kulimia we approaching na tuwezi leave With the gang people coaching na kutaleka see Mine kusema kavali macho zote on me But baby chunga macho kusichuma rada clean Duru nayo ni mabajo nikingia kila scene Nikingia kwenye mic na chunga crime scene Rudi mia every night and you looking at the Kembo ukikame pata downtown Macho ziko chini kama sundown Kutango kimia fuck your town Kujana mania utashana Kudaaminia tunakaa Kujana mania utashana Kudamu kimia utashana Kembo ukikame pata downtown
Yes, that is Downtown by the one and only Titan Jitumbaya, one of the amazing artists here in the 254. I just love his vibe, the way he said he thinks of a word. I don't know if you guys remember him on the Express show last time. That was in 2021. There's a time we did get to host him here on the Express show, and he did get to say, we asked him, how does it come with the with the lyrics, rather rhythm, however we call it. He said he thinks of a word and he goes with the word. He just flows with everything. And he's really creative, and shout out to him. I hope that he gets to do his best this particular year. He's one of the guys who have heard him speaking, rather he understands, because he's in the system. He understands how the system works. He works for one of the government offices right here in the 254, and he has seen how corruption is being, how it is working in the country, how these people, how the leaders take advantage, rather they misuse power, to get everything they want. And I've heard him speaking about it. He wishes to make a change, but if we when we come together, the Black Hot Fire Network, that is him being part of here, and rather him understanding what we literally talk about, it is one of the ways of passing the message. That is what I can really say. But once again, Karibuni Sana family to the Black Hot Fire Network Media for the 21st century. This is the Pan African Bliss. In case you're joining us for the first time, kindly interact with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. We were just discussing about the matters of Malawi when it comes to corruption, and how the rest of the African leaders can also come forth and finish all this. But before I go back onto that, I also have other news coming from Tigray, and these about the drones. There has been some drones which have been sent to Ethiopia, and they seem to be, they are drones which seem to be having weapons on it. So they're saying that there's a conflict between the drone strikes that has been happening in Ethiopia, and they're saying that the dozens of people have been killed in an airstrikes in the northern Ethiopia region of Tigray in recent months. And some of the attacks have involved the use of armed drones, and there is growing concerns about the numbers of civilians, and the civilians casualties. The government, which has been fighting rebels over a year, says it has the right to use whatever arms it fits in, and it denies that it has targeted any civilians. And this is totally crazy, man. I don't know when this issue is gonna come, because we've been speaking about Tigray, Ethiopia since last year, and the matter still goes on and on and on. And right now, they have reached to a point where they even have the access of using, drones, which are, they are armed drones, and which are even attacking the civilians. Then it is literally crazy, because they're saying in 8th January there was an attack at a camp for displaced, and that an air attack on a camp for internally displaced people in Debit in Tigray on 8th January killed over 50 people and left more than 100 injured. That is totally crazy, man. And this is just a country on top of us. And yet we have leaders. We have the African Union, which is supposed to be coming forth and helping the African countries when it comes to this particular kind of matters. And that is when I was saying, when it comes to Africans, we are really, the ignorance is super real. Starting with our own leaders, the ignorance is super real. Somali is just above us. So not Somali, but Ethiopia, and you literally know when the attack can even come down to Kenya. When it comes to the ignorance is super real, where our leaders do not see, even when it comes to fight, they still want to wait on the British or on the colonial leaders or on the Mzungu to make us say, now make a move, go and find out what is really happening. They can't really come up together as leaders and talk about this issue and then see how they can help each other. I mean, what is the meaning of union if we can't start even helping our own people? That is totally crazy, because if we speak of union every day and we can't even help our neighboring countries, then there's no continent we are building. We are literally destroying it every day. And the people who are helping us destroy this is our own leaders, because we have, as I was saying, we have the African Union, and I was trying to understand the other day how it works. And of course, Spikes gave us still some details on it. And if that is how he explained how it works, why is it that the leaders are not doing anything about it? Which is literally crazy. But moving on to other matters of the day, I do hope that peace is going to it's gonna be in Ethiopia, and that these conflicts are going to end anytime soon. And we're gonna see by Friday what will they have done about this particular one. Are they going to remain ignorant about it, like the way the rest of the African countries are being ignorant about it? We hope that they're going to come up with a solution, because literally speaking, when you look at the issues, like look at the warning that has been sent in Kenya about the France, the attack that is supposed to happen in Kenya. They warned the foreigners who are here and told them to keep safe. We've seen the same matter. There's a time, I can't remember where it was, but I think it was in Ethiopia, where the same issue, where the UK foreigners were also being warned to go back to their country early enough before the matters get worse in Ethiopia. And in Africa, when something is happening and the people are scattered all over, no one is going to send a message, not even any African leader, which is literally crazy. But I wish peace. upon the Ethiopian country, and the things are going to be okay, and people can find peace and live in harmony once again, because fights are also affecting the kids every day. It's the same thing that was happening in Nigeria, and the same thing is happening in the rest of the African countries. We literally do not have peace, and no, most of these media nations do not want to speak about it. They just give us what they want us to see and what they want us to hear, which is politics, feeding us politics every day, in religion. But moving on to other matters of the day, I want to discuss about ECOWAS and the UN. And I wanted also you family to help me understand, how does ECOWAS work? For me, because I did had to do my own research and see, because they're saying ECOWAS is meant to promote the economic cooperation among members of the state, in order to raise living standards and promote economic developments. That is the ECOWAS. And they are saying that it has also worked to address some security issues by developing a peacemaking force and conflicts in the region. And if this is so, because I can see they're working with 15 countries. We have in the likes of Burkina Faso, Benin, we have Cabo Verde, we also have Gambia, we have Ghana, we have Guinea, we have Guinea-Bissau, we have Liberia, we have Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo. I do not know why the rest of the African countries are not involved. But if this is what they are meant to do, why is it that the same cooperation cannot come forth and help the African countries, solve the conflicts that have been happening? Because if it is meant to, it is meant to address security issues by developing peacemaking force and conflicts in the region. What is it doing? What is the purpose of ECOWAS? And then coming up together and uniting with UN, and not bringing any improvement in the African countries. Because every time you see ECOWAS has gotten itself involved in something, it is always a conflict with an African country. There's always something. They always want to, do something crazy. Because right now they're saying the ECOWAS segment has teamed up to access Burkina Faso situations. And, they're saying that a team from the Western African region bloc, ECOWAS, will be in Burkina Faso capital city, and on Monday, this is actually today, to assess the situation in the country. It comes a week after military officers slooped at the government of elected President Roch Kobere. Okay, the name. And the ECOWAS ministerial level mission will be joined by UN delegations and led by the head of the UN's office to the West Africa and Salahi. The names are literally hard to pronounce, but I do not see any improvement they are making in all this, because we have literally conflicts happening in every country. If there's something happening in Burkina Faso, they should be also make a movement in countries like Guinea, in countries like Nigeria. We see conflicts every day in Nigeria, but they're not doing any improvement on it. They're not making the matters of security go any better. Especially like right now in Nigeria, we've seen the situation is out of hand, where even leaders are they're giving the civilians the permission to have weapons to protect themselves, because the matter is out of control. So I do not see how they are developing peacekeeping force for conflicts in the region. Literally, there's nothing they're doing. All this is just for their own benefits, and I do hope for Burkina Faso. This all goes to our leaders, because the leaders still they start all these fights amongst people, whether it is matters of politics, whether it is matters of tribalism, because tribalism, remembers kids explaining to us, because he has been across some African countries, and he has seen what tribe is literally all about. This is one of the peacemaking conflicts that is really affecting a lot of people. But that is what is really happening across the African countries. We have covered on on the Mali issue, on the Malawi issue. We have also checked on what is happening across the Rwanda and Uganda border, and I do hope things are going to be okay, so that people can be able to trade well and make business grow in the African countries, and for people not to lack foods or other any source of things that they are depending each other on. And that is what is really happening in the African countries. I hope that you have enjoyed today's show, family. We are coming to the end. 38 minutes past 12 p.m. right here in the 254. I don't know about you, but I want to appreciate you, Sister Lightbearer, Kay Williams, and Sister Michelle, and to the rest of the family also watching in silence. I want to appreciate you so much for joining us on today's broadcast, and I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Kindly do let us know if there is anything we need to improve or any information that you would want to know so that we can see where we can make it better. Kindly do email us. That is on the Black Fire Network, that's gmail.com, and you can also interact with us through the website on the www.blackoutfirenetwork.com, and you can be able to see where we can make things better. For now, this has been the Pan-African Bliss. I've been your host, Joby. In case you didn't know my name or in case you joined us for the first time, I want to say asante sana. It has been an honor, and do remember to join us on the Rhythm Scoop show that is later on. For now, I want to say kwaherini, and as you enjoy this particular one.
Macho ziko chini kama sanda, ujangu ni mia fuck Kyoto, ujana mania utashango, udamenia tunakanjwa, ujana mania utashango, ujana mania utashango, udamenia tunakanjwa, udamenia utashango, ujangu ni mia, and I'm back in it. What's that Machiavelli so packing, man? Chief chef, I can flavors in a ladder, then. Me, man, I go harder than a ladder, man. Do like a phone, mother, sucker, no see loto, man. Little nigga awesome, man. Come on, hope with my green says it choker, man. Day one, money green, but for real, no bro. Day one, killing thing, none of that shit, bro. Day one's on my team, you ain't killing my hope. Snakes in the grass, you can dig him in the float. Chillings on your back when you call on nigga choke. Billions is the plan, and me choke up for broke. Says it on the hand, man, I overstand. Kila kitu zangu dick, man, I call up behind. Kila kitu zangu